Hi! How are you guys? Well, I hope you've been having a good week and you've been learning all about sun and sunlight. Today we are going to do a little project. This project isn't going to take lots of days, but it is going to take some thinking and creativity. So you don't have any Sabbath assignments for science today, but you do have a science project. And you will put your project onto Canvas. I hope to see it today. If you don't get it done today, that's okay. You could put it up tomorrow. We have been learning about sun and sunlight. So your project is to make a model of a structure for an animal to keep them cool in the sunlight. Well, that was a little bit confusing, right? Because I said you have to make a model, and you're thinking, what's a model? Isn't a model one of those like people who wear like the fashion clothes and walk down the runway? No, not that kind of model. That's called a model, but a model is anything that represents something else. Your house is probably full of models. Let me show you one model. This is a model tractor. A lot of toys are actually models. They show like a miniature version of a bigger thing. This is a model of the Earth. This kind of model of the Earth has a special name called a globe, but it gives us an idea of what the Earth looks like. Is this exactly what the Earth looks like? No, not exactly, but it gives us an idea that the Earth has oceans and land, and there are different kinds of land all over. There's even labels on this model of the Earth. So you'll notice a lot of models have labels. Models don't have to be big though. A lot of models, most models, and the model you make today might be completely flat. Here's a model. This is a model of the pumpkin life cycle, and it shows how a pumpkin grows and changes and becomes a seed again. So it's a model because it's showing us how something happens with small pictures to represent. It's a model using real photographs. Here's a model using an illustration. This model uses lines to show the wind. Can you really see wind? No, but it's using lines to show us the wind, and then an arrow to show us the direction the boat is moving. Isn't that cool? So we have a model to show us how something goes. A while back, you designed a sail car, and one of your steps was to draw what you were going to make. That was making a model. A model shows kind of a representation of things. One kind of model my children like to make is a model like this. There are lots of different toys that you can make models out of. They'll make models like this, and they'll say, this is my house, and my room's right here, and here's the front door, it's right there. You'll go in, here's the living room, and here's the kitchen. The bathroom's over here. It's a model. It just represents a house. You can make models out of all sorts of things, and I hope you have fun making a model today. Your model can be flat, piece of paper, draw. That is a great model. Your model could be made out of toys like magnets or building blocks or Legos or popsicle sticks. Maybe it's made out of craft supplies like popsicle sticks and pipe cleaners or paper and tinfoil. I don't know. You can make it out of anything. You can even make models on a computer. Maybe you'll get out on your computer a drawing app, and you'll draw a model right in the computer. Maybe you'll get on Minecraft. Did you know Minecraft is just an entire game of making models? Because you're not really building a real city, a real house, a real castle, a real anything. You're not building real things. You're building models. Isn't that cool? So you know how to make a model. Okay. Next step, so now that you know how to make a model, next step is to decide what you're going to make your model of. We've learned that the sun can be very hot and that sometimes animals need shade. So I want you to imagine you had a pet of any kind. This is imagine time. You can imagine the craziest pet you want. Or you can pick a pet you do have, or a pet that's not very crazy. Maybe you want to have a dog, so you pick a dog. Pick any animal, okay? Then I want you to make a house to provide it with some shade to keep it cool. So if you pick a dog, you would build something called a dog house. Now you're not really going to build the real thing. You're going to make a model, right? If you picked a cat, we could call it a cat house or a cat shelter or a cat shade or whatever you want, or kitty shade. That you're going to build a structure. Structure just means a building. Sorry, I said build. You're not going to build. You're going to make a model of a structure, which is any kind of building or thing, and you're going to share it on Canvas. So the two questions you need to ask yourself are, what is it going to keep cool? Is your structure going to keep a cat cool, or a dog, or some crazy animal you pick, or a snail? That's what I picked. I picked a snail. So that's your first question. What is it going to keep cool? And your next question is, what would it be made out of? I want you to think about the material you would use. Not the material you'll use to do the model, but the material you would use if you were going to make it for real. So, in my model, I might use magnets, and I might use magnets to make my model, but my real structure, I don't want to build it out of magnets because these magnets are clear and they'll let all the sunlight in. I don't think this would work very well. So if I was going to make it for real, I want to think about what I'd make it out of. What would you make it out of? Wood? Metal? Plastic? Paper? Tissue paper? Make it out of tinfoil? If you were going to build it for real, what real thing would you want to make it out of? Would you make it completely out of gold? Would you build it out of mud or out of plants? I don't know. So I want you to think about the material you would use. What would you make your structure out of? And then I want you to make your model. I chose to make a snail shade. I decided to make my model on paper so I could draw it. And I drew it out. I used some labels because I thought that might help everybody know about my snail shade. I made the snail shade has a door right in the center here. It's just that black circle. That's not like a door, it's a hole. And it's for entering inside. My snail shade is only 5 inches big. It's not very big. I put some hinges on this side and a latch here so that I could open it up and see inside and see what snails are in there, and even maybe add some food if I want to add some carrots or things that snails like to eat. But the latch, it closes so that other animals can't open it up and get to the snails. And I decided I'd make it out of wood, but I'd paint it green so it'd fit in and match the plants that I put it by. That is my project. What's your project? Can you make a model? When you're done making a model, take a picture of it and upload it onto Canvas. You can use anything. If you make it on like a game or something, and you can just take a picture of the screen of the game to show it. If you make it out of toys, you could take a picture of the toys. If you make it on paper, you can scan in the paper or take a picture of the paper and scan it in. I'm excited to see your model. Thanks. Bye.